reason I chose to become a patrol training officer was I had very good trainers that I came in to the department not knowing a whole lot, not knowing how to be a police officer. They trained me how to respond to calls, how to be good backup, good secondary officers, good primary officer, and I wanted to give back to the new recruits that we have and to teach them that way, because I want my backup coming to help me. I want them to be trained and know what to do when they get there, because if I'm in need of help, I want them to be able to respond appropriately to help me out in whatever situation I'm in. Training's broken down into 4 phases, A, B, C, and D. Then you have a midterm between B and C, and then a final. So Jake had completed phase A and B, then was on his midterm. And before all this even happened, when we were driving shortly before the call for service, he was just asking how he was doing. I said, "You're doing fine, just keep doing what you're doing and you're gonna pass." We had gone on a car accident earlier in the day, handled it, no issues. And then we were actually driving back to the station when this call came out. This was a very routine accident. We go to these accidents every day, just very minor property. A lot of times at these accidents, we'll just have people exchange their information if it's very minor and no injuries. Nothing out of the ordinary at this accident. There was no indication there was any kind of threat. Nothing that would lead us to believe that we were in danger just by being out there. And then I was walking back to just go move a squad car quick when the shooting began.
Notice. Central, we got shots fired. Central, we got shots fired.
I was by cover. I was concealed from by that vehicle being there. So I immediately drew my pistol out, called over the radio, had shots fired, and then was trying to find out where they were coming from.
Central, shots fired, shots fired. We got 3 officers down. Send everybody.
I knew those guys needed medical attention now, but I knew I had every officer responding that was available, and I just needed to get that guy down, detained, because if he's not detained, then all of us are still at risk of being hurt. I saw all 3 of them laying on the ground. So it was Jake, Andrew, then Tyler. I saw Jake, saw it was fatal wound, moved on to Andrew. Then I stayed with Andrew. Officer Dirk Tiedemann had arrived right around the same time, I think, that I got to Dotas. I did not think Andrew was going to live, like, at all. I watched the color from his skin just go away, and I knew he was losing a ton of blood. And I mean, I've seen people that have been shot before and where they're still alive, but then they get taken away and they died. He looked just like that. He, a couple different times, closed his eyes, gave him a sternum rub, woke him back up. But we needed to focus on his wounds and just told him to, each had a hand, we're holding on to him. He got loaded up, he was first to get out of there. The gravity of everything hit, like, right after probably, like, the guy got detained, and I remember thinking to myself, I did the whole, like, check on myself, like, am I hit or whatnot? And then getting back in the station, and you got guys coming in on their off time, walking by, seeing me, coming in, giving me hugs, and still doesn't even seem real that it all happened. I called, like, my wife right after it happened, I think when I was still on scene, just said, hey, there was a shooting, I'm okay. And I called my dad too and told him, like, hey, there was just a shooting, but I'm okay. But he said my voice sounded different too, and he knew that, like, just his gut, probably fatherly instinct, knew that I was involved in it. I went home and, like, fell asleep on the couch and just woke up to a text message on my phone from Brad Cernick, and he said, hey, I'm outside your house right now. Walked outside and just talked to him and asked how Dotas was doing, and he was like, yeah, he went into surgery and he's doing good. Obviously, it was still serious, but it was, like, relieving to hear that, because I thought for sure he was going to tell me that he, like, didn't make it. I don't know, like, what would have happened had he been able to get away, because I've seen pictures from the street fair before, and I know a ton of people go there. And when I met with U.S. Attorney Max Schneider, he said he looked out the day of that shooting when he found out, and people were just packed in there enjoying a Friday afternoon. And had he gone there and start shooting with that binary trigger, and there would have been tons of casualties. Whether wounded, deceased, it would have been horrible. You never think you're going to be in a situation like that, but it just reinforces the fact of why you train, why you shoot till you run out of ammo and you reload. So that when you're doing it real life, it's just, you don't even have to think about it, you react. Remember, I ran dry, it didn't even cross my mind. You put cover between you and the suspect, reload, and get back into it. Very grateful for the community, even just like driving around, seeing all the blue lights, everybody that obviously cares about all of us. And I know just not just me been checked in on, it's been every member at the department. People have checked in on them to see how they're doing too, because everybody was affected. I mean, I just happened to be the right place at the right time, but it could have been anybody else too. So Andrew and I, we worked on nights together and then days. And unfortunately, I didn't know Tyler very well. He's in training. And we always talked about how we need to hang out outside of work. Work together every day, know everything about him, but you go home with your wife, go home to your kid, and then see you in 14 hours. That's definitely changed. All of our wives have gotten to know each other now. I've had the opportunity now to meet Jeff and Amy a couple times. Very wonderful family. Was at the Bison game with them, and got to go out in the field with them too, and when Jake was recognized, and then just kind of got to hang out and talk with them at the football game, which is really nice, because they live 3 hours away. It's not easy to see them on a regular basis. Just cherish the time we get with them. After having like a son, I just can't even imagine. And then winter, losing your fiance too. It's like, I don't know what I would have done if I'd been in that situation. Still like plays in my mind like 1,000 times a day, and it still doesn't seem like real that this even happened. Last 2 months have just been like a whirlwind. I wanted to come back right away. I took 1 week off for myself, and then I'm sitting at home like, I need to get back and get around everybody, see everybody again. But there's no question, like I wasn't gonna not come back to work. Like I wasn't job hunting or anything. I'm fully content where I'm at right now. I wanna put in for sergeant after this incident. You're a mentor and a leader to the other patrol officers that are out on the street. I've had multiple people tell me that, like, I'm glad you were there that day. Like, that's like the biggest honor to hear that from other cops, is to say, like, I'm glad you were there to help out.